Okay, I think we are live and everything is going well, I think. Well, hello and welcome back, my Roger Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Roger Rogue, and we are going to do a body language analysis in the Royal Rogue about all the things that Scobie has said about Endgame. And I know that many of you have already made your mind about his words. Many of you already think or have formed an opinion about his words and know what to believe and what not to believe. But I wanted to make this analysis, especially to try to explain all the ways that you can prevent that somebody lies to you in the future, and all the examples that I some clips that I have marked in this and a couple interviews so you can learn from this, and of course try to analyze. It's going to be a challenge, by the way. Analyze Scobie's body language. I've been asked that a lot. How are you going to analyze Omid Scobie's body language if he's so well, let's say, not that emotional, right? I try to keep my uh, Royal Road channel family friendly. And remember to subscribe and like this video so you can help me with that. And my merch, the Rogue Highlander and the Much Love and Bliss merch, is going to be available only for 3 more days until December 3rd, and then it's gone. The link in the description of this video. I will try the best to make this analysis as succinct as possible. All right. I don't know if I will release a summary of this. I've yet to release that summary of my previous analysis of Meghan, by the way. I still owe you that one. And at the same time, I don't know. I have some technical details right now, and I don't know how long this live stream could be. So I'm going to try to do a bird's eye view first of some of the clips and some of the things that he has said. Trying to do the most important first, and then we can move on to the others. But let's begin. I'm going to try to play this. Make sure that you can listen. For example, I'm going to play this one. I'm going to test and make sure that you can listen what he says.
So many things that within the UK we've only just started to talk about because we feel comfortable now having those conversations about the purpose and the relevancy of the royal family.
Okay, one thing that you're gonna hear over and over again, if the monarchy is relevant, if the royal family right now are up to the standards that the British public demands, and that is a legit question. What I don't know is why did he had to write a book with so much stuff going on inside that book? And you know what? We are going to address also the claims that he did not know that the Dutch translation of the book had those mistakes and revealed those two names. We're going through that as well. I'm gonna jump to this. I have this clips marked. Okay, let me see if I can give you more real estate. All right, it will be much better if I give you a bit more real estate of the beat itself. Okay, much better right now. And I can focus on the rest. I'm going to play this clip as well. Okay, second clip that we're gonna see. We're gonna watch a few clips first, and then we're gonna start the analysis itself. Okay, play.
You know, even on GMA, Harry was talking about wanting those reconciliations with his family, those moments to sit down and find accountability, apologies. And it was a little upsetting to discover that for neither of them, nothing has changed.
Okay, something interesting here is that when he mentions, it's not in this clip, but previous to this clip, he says Harry and his brother. He never really mentions William. That is interesting at some point. He mentions Williams at other points of other interviews, but not right here. He mentions Harry, and that Harry has been trying to, reconcile with his family I don't know why does he keep pushing that. I guess that he needs to push that because that is the current narrative. You know that Harry claims to be calling Charles almost every day, nonstop, and it's Charles. Oh, Charles is so evil that doesn't pick up the phone. But by the way, Charles doesn't have a phone. King Charles doesn't have a phone himself. So how how can he pick up a phone that he doesn't have? So Harry was talking about wanting those reconciliations with his family. Yeah, talking, all talk and no play, no actions. You know how it is. But that's what Scobie wants you to believe. Since there are so few body language markers, this behavior analysis will also have a linguistic analysis and voice analysis as well. So I'm going to go here, mark this clip, and play this one as well.
And I wanted this book to put names, faces, and anecdotes to these events so we can actually understand what goes on behind the palace walls.
Well, this is another lie. He says that I wanted this book to put names, faces, and anecdotes to these events, but we just read about sources, employees, and nothing more. Only claims. There's nowhere a substantial name or claim that, for example, the letters between Meghan and King Charles even exist. Okay, in my opinion, those letters never existed. Okay, I don't think King Charles would have back then, being the Prince of Wales, after the Oprah interview, would have written letters or use that way of communication that leaves traces. I don't know. It's not. I don't think it will be the right thing to do, especially in the wake of the Oprah interview and knowing that so many things that Meghan claimed instantly, so many people of the general public, you, my rogues, so many of you, because I was just in diapers back then in this royal journey, you knew that you were Meghan was lying. Okay, so imagine King Charles sharing letters with her. So putting names, faces, and anecdotes. My opinion, those letters do not exist. And well, that is my opinion. That I'm going to keep on here and keep playing.
You know, I always wondered why Harry and Meghan didn't continue that conversation in the Netflix series, in Harry's book Spare. You know, it was like it disappeared out of sight, and I wanted to get to the bottom of that. So
this is important. Scobie asks the question, why did the conversations are again about Archie's skin color. Everything that we're gonna see here is about Archie's skin color again. Everything. He said it himself. Of I don't know, it would be like 50,000 words. The book. Well, 20,000 words of his book are based on race and the monarchy. So it's like more than 1/3 of the book is like about race and the monarchy. You go figure. And he's saying he wondered why Harry and Meghan did not continue that conversation of Archie's skin color in the Netflix series and Harry's book. I'm gonna tell you, Scobie. I'm gonna tell you why they didn't follow that conversation. You know it, of course, but you want to say that you don't know. They did not continue that conversation because that was already spent. They said that we have so many things to say besides the same story about Archie's skin color, and we know that it's a bit of nonsense because almost in every, it's like Chris Rock called that. Like every family would like to know, every mixed race family would like to know, and it's no big deal. It's absurd. It's stupid, imbecile. I don't know which other word to use, but is that? And Harry's book, he didn't include that either because they thought that, well, there was they had so many bangers, and those bangers, even in the Dockshide Bentory or Harry's book, none of that work. So this is their final desperate measure. Let's include that again on the Endgame, and let's make for some kind of mistake be revealed the two royal racists. But I'm going to say something about that as well. So far, I think that there's a nice sound, So we can mark this clip and play this clip.
To discover more about these letters that had been exchanged between Meghan and Charles after that Oprah interview, where although neither still see eye to eye on it to this day, they were able to at least share their queries and concerns about those conversations that happened within the family.
So in regards to body language clues, by the way, this interview has been edited. You can see that. You can see here that he has he has his mouth open right here. Okay, mouth open, and the next frame, I don't know if you can spot it. I think it will be a bit hard to spot, but he's got his mouth closed. That cannot happen. This has been edited, but his body language right now is has this hand on his leg, has that leg tense at the same time. That's the same leg that is pointed at the interviewers. He was not that confident. He was not that. I'm going to show you, by the way, a clip. I'm going to jump right now so you can see this clip. Just play this. I'm gonna mute it for a second. I don't need the sound right now. The difference with his interviews about finding freedom, this was in Good Morning America, and the difference of his body language was, well, you can see that he looks much more confident. His chin is a bit up. His gestures are much natural, if I can use that word with Scobie, but they are, in fact, they are. But no, that is a big deal. That is a big difference in regards to this. For example, look at this. I'm gonna play this again. This one. He was talking. Let me just scrub here. It's a bit more tense. I see him a bit more tense in this interview. Of course, he is in the eye of the storm for all this that has happened with the Dutch translation of the book. But well, I think we can move on. I'm just gonna show you this. This is his smile. This is him smiling and saying thank you to the people that are interviewing him. And this interview was quite soft, so he was quite happy about this interview, by the way. So that his full, genuine Omid Scobie smile. So that is like as much as he can smile. His smile cannot go beyond that. So I don't want to judge, but his lip corners do not go really up, and his the outer part of his eye, the outer corner of his eyes, no, they're not compressing enough. So there is definitely something done in there. I'm gonna jump, maybe not jump. I'm gonna scrub here. I think if I scrub, you don't hear it. I knew this book would be controversial. This was from the This Morning interview. We're gonna jump to this interview right now. As I said, I don't want this analysis to drag on too much. But let's jump to my mark. I'm going to try to show you my marks here. Let me see if I can show you my marks so you can see my marks right here on the bottom. Much better if you can. Let me see. Oh, yes, much better. You have. Let's hide. I don't want to see your face. I have to see your face. I have to watch it. I have to see your face. Then make your clip and play it. Let's do this.
And then you did refer to her as a Stepford wife, though, which is kind of offensive too, isn't it?
It said Stepford wife-like, and you know, I think that the whole.
Okay, this is something about Catherine that he speaks, that he says in the book. He talks about Catherine in terms of Stepford wife. In case of you who do not know what a Stepford wife is, There's a story. I think it's a novel. Then they did a movie, an old movie. Then Nicole Kidman did a movie about that. That are wives that are perfect in every way, that have absolutely no flaws. But it is said in a mocking way. It's like a robotic wife. Okay, it's like that's what the Stepford wife sound means. He's saying that in regards to Catherine, and yes, the interviewer is calling him out on that. Why are you calling Catherine that? Because it's like mocking her, and he claims that that is kind of offensive. Oh, he said that she was like a Stepford wife. I'm going to play the following clip so you can see for yourself, hear for yourself what he says.
Section of the book, if you read it in detail, talks about that she's never put a step wrong, but also that the role does require that kind of stately detachment.
So notice this is something that I wanted to talk with you, and this is something to create a comprehensive analysis of this would take me a lot of time, and I don't want to allocate a lot of time for Scobie. It has taken me almost all this afternoon to get these clips ready. But this is something that I wanted to talk with you because it's important. It's important to understand that he's trying to reframe the fact that Catherine has done nothing wrong, that she's never put a step wrong. He says that, but he's trying to reframe that as if she is detached. Okay, she is not warm. She is detached. She is, he's trying to spin that narrative that, well, maybe he's forgetting that Catherine in all these royal engagements has to behave like that. That is royal protocol. Maybe he forgot that, right? It's strange that he forgot that, claiming that he is a royal, I don't know, journalist, commentator. I don't know how they call themselves. Aaron Stepford wives actually robots. I think that is was the sense of the novel or the movie itself. So it's mocking. He's calling Catherine like robotic. Okay, you're perfect in every way, but I'm going to use that against you in some way. So I'm going to try to put this in perspective, and especially how even something that is good and takes a lot of work not to put a step wrong is trying to frame it in a way that criticizes Catherine. Yeah, he's going there. Next clip.
And it compares her to the Queen in a very favourable way, actually. But of course, if you compare that to, say, everyday folk, there is a sort of like very reserved, almost Stepford-like.
So this is the way that I say that preparing a comprehensive analysis of this would be quite, let me see, I need my water, would be quite a daunting task. It is much better if we go along and I tell you what is this about. He's comparing apples to oranges. He's saying, he just claimed, okay, the Queen was like that. The Queen gets a free, her late Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth. She gets a free pass. I don't know how this works, but she gets a free pass. But of course, if you compare Catherine to, say, everyday folk, because we are talking about the same thing, right? We're talking about senior working royal to everyday folk, which is, I don't know, maybe it's not mocking, but it's a bit condescending. I think that is a word. But he's comparing a royal that is usually on royal engagements and has to behave in a way with royal protocol to people in their everyday life. And it's like, as I always say in body language, it's like saying that you are going to behave the same when you're at work. Maybe you are giving an important presentation at work in front of executives or the senior executives of the company. And you're going to behave the same as you behave on Sunday at the beach. That is not going to happen. That is stupid. You cannot compare even yourself in both situations And he's trying to make that argument. I'm trying to tell you this because manipulators use this kind of arguments all the time. And my job is calling them out on this, but sadly, I would like to. It will be, I know that it will be much better for you if I create a small video, a very, I don't know, 12, 14-minute video about all this, quick video, but that takes me more time. It's easier for me to explain it this way. So try to internalize that he's comparing two scenarios. He's comparing Catherine to everyday folk. We're not saying that Catherine cannot be, she's human after all, okay? But he's comparing Catherine as a royal with everyday folk, which in the same person in two different scenarios could not be compared to himself, for example, in my case, okay? So that's a flaw. That's a way that manipulators use words and use sentences and use ideas, say, hey, I'm comparing these two things, and you have to call them out on that. You have to tell them that is wrong. You're comparing apples to oranges. That doesn't make sense. And I'm usually mad at this kind of interviews because interviewers do not push on. One of the few interviewers that push, that actually ask the hard questions is Piers Morgan, and even Piers Morgan never asks the question twice or three times, and maybe sometimes you have to ask the question 2 or 3 times. It happened with the Piers last interview of Andrew Tate. I think Piers went too soft on Andrew. I think I think it at some point I even felt like it was some kind of arrangement, but that is a discussion for another time. Let's watch this following clip. I hope that the way that he was talking about Catherine and how he was framing how Catherine is, how perfect she is, and this is something that I was mentioning on Twitter, the fact that Catherine is so perfect in every way and haven't made a single mistake, and nobody has been able to find anything about her, upsets and triggers a lot of people. That is gonna happen. And yes, some of you are saying the quiet part out loud. Omid is jealous of Catherine the same way that Meghan is jealous of Catherine due to Prince William. That is more than obvious. Let's say it. Let's say, I'm gonna call it right now. Like, Omid is jealous of Catherine just because Prince William is more than obvious. Let's continue.
And so what is your relationship with Harry and Meghan at the moment?
I'm not their friend. I've never sat down with Meghan privately for interviews. I've never exchanged information with Meghan. I'm not in their private world in any way whatsoever.
Are you fighting their corner?
No.
Yeah, he finished that statement with this protective gesture, protecting his midsection. He is quite tense. You can see it in the way he was talking. You can see that his jaw and his neck is tense as he's saying that. He has to be very careful with these statements. I am not their friend. Scobie, please. I don't know. I am not their friend. That is laughable. That is laughable. Okay? And he's got, I was pointing that out in the thumbnail, that duping delight in his face. Like, I am not their friend. Oh my God. I never sat down with Meghan privately for interviews. You don't need to sit down with Meghan privately for interviews. You know that there are emails, you know that you can be relayed information by a third party. There's so many ways that Meghan can get information to you without sitting down with her privately. So you can say, for real, that you haven't sat down with Meghan privately. Maybe that's true, but that doesn't mean that he hasn't received information or inside information from her directly. What else that he state? He says, I've never exchanged information with Meghan. You remember what with Finding Freedom, that Meghan in that trial, forgot that she had approved that Jason Nuff share information with Omid Scobie. Isn't that Meghan sharing information with Scobie? It is. It actually is. It's like they trying to say, we have never said the word, we have never talked about racism. We have never made racism claims. You're trying to make this link a semantics thing when everybody knows what you have said. I've never exchanged information with Meghan. You have, for Finding Freedom. You are trying to say with your smug face that you haven't exchanged information directly with her. I don't know if she giving you some kind of envelope or something on the street or sending you a text message, but through third parties. And Marcus Anderson, as you're mentioning, some of you are mentioning, that could be a thing. Okay, so let's get this out. Let's get this out and say it. I'm not in their private world in any way whatsoever. Nobody wants to be in that private world. I assure you, not even Scobie. He doesn't need to be in that private world. He only needs to publish what Meghan says. That's it. That's another truth. I'm not in the private world. I don't think Meghan considers you a friend. And that in that regard, I'm not their friend. I'm going to concede, Scobie, that he's telling the truth. Because I don't think Meghan thinks Scobie worthy of being her friend. Scobie is just a tool. Scobie is just a messenger. That's it. He is not their friend. He is a messenger. He's doing something on their behalf. That's it. And he's, of course, he is enjoying the attention because he is also a narcissist as well. Are you fighting the corner? No. Oh my God. Let's move on. Let's move on. We are nice. 2000. Hit the like button. Subscribe so you don't miss any of this analysis. Oh my God. But if you want to miss this analysis, I won't blame you either. Oh my God. I won't blame you.
See, this is where I have a bit of and I don't mean to cut across.
Yeah, go for it.
I find a lot of this content quite tabloidy too.
Yeah.
So, you got to bear the brunt of that as well.
It delves into...
As part of the American...
I found this part especially funny because the interviewer says, I'm going to tell you, it's like when you say, with all due respect, and you can say whatever you want after you say, with all due respect. This is where I have a bit of I don't need to cut across for. I find a lot of this content, ENDGAME, quite tabloidy too. And Omid says, yes. He said, yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's tabloidy. What are you going to do about it? And I find it so funny that the interviewer did not expect Scobie to say yes. And he begins to mumble. That was a fun clip. Let's move on.
It's the job of a communications officer at the palace to deal with the press.
But if you're not dealing with them, it would be very surprising that any of her staff or aides would talk to you. So people are questioning your sources.
So this is when the interviewers doubling down on the fact that Scobie claims that he has no direct contact with Meghan. And Scobie says it's a job of a communications officer, Jason Nuff, at the palace to deal with the press. Okay? But the communications officer cannot make things on the fly, cannot make things up. Meghan has to tell Jason Nuff about the autobiography details of her life so he can relate. He has the permission to relay them to Scobie. So essentially, Meghan is having that communication with Scobie. If you're not dealing with them, with Harry and Meghan, it will be very surprising that any of their staff or aides will talk to you. Well, it happens, okay? And we don't know if Meghan has been using Archwell staff to communicate with Scobie, so Scobie can say, no, Meghan is not communicating with me directly. That's how this kind of statements work. But that's why it's so important that a full-on interview or interrogation needs to ask the actual questions. And sadly, with so many questions that they really tried. They tried their best to ask the questions, but you have to, always go further on that answers and ask the question again and go deeper. That's something that was missing here.
Can I ask you a question? Have you
Sure.
ever had this conversation with people that write source quotes about Camilla, Charles, William,
100%.
Kate? Do they ever get called friends of, mouthpieces of, cheerleaders?
Okay, notice that this is a classic form of deflection. You are pressing onto someone, okay? You're asking them about their sources, okay? And you're cornering them into having to accept that maybe did not talk to Meghan and Harry directly, as in, hey, hello, how are you? And shake hands and sit down for tea or coffee or whatever. But you're pressing them into accepting that they receive information via a third party in some way. And what does Scobie do? Scooby Doo. That sounds that sounded funny. What did Scobie do? He deflected towards Camilla, Charles, William. He began to deflect in that. Do you ask these questions about them as well? And we are not talking. This is the thing. That this is what I want to talk with you. I know my shit. And I'm sorry that I had to talk about this. Today has been a rough day with these clips. My Twitter has been not family friendly at all. But I need to try to explain, because it's a bit. I get fuming. No, it's not a word. I get pissed off. All right, I get really pissed off when I see people trying to deflect a question, or try to manipulate the public, or try to manipulate how events have happened, or try to manipulate using these deceiving tactics. And there are people that are especially good at this. It's undeniable. It's undeniable that Omid Scobie has a very well way of communication. He is very adept at communication. I've seen his interviews. He knows how to manage himself and how to some extent, to say the right words. But in this case, when he finds himself cornered, he said, do you ask these same questions to all these other figures? And the answer to that deflection will be, regardless if we ask those questions, we are asking those questions about Meghan Markle. So answer the question. Answer the question. That would be something that Piers Morgan, in some occasions, Piers, if you're watching this, I'm going to tell you, you sometimes do it when it's convenient to you. You should do it every time, but don't worry. Your secret is safe with me. This is something that you have to do every time. We're not talking about Camilla now. We're not talking about Charles. We're not talking about William. Okay? We are talking about this because your claims stem from the fact that you're talking about the royal family, and somehow, this is something that I have to mention, they're going to call him out on why is Harry and Meghan barely present in the book. And he's going to say, I'm going to go for that clip right now. Maybe we should jump to that clip. Maybe it's this one. But I'm going to try to, do this. All right, much better this. I'm going to play this clip. But notice that deflection, this attack on me, toxic personality, you press on them, you corner them, and they're going to deflect your questioning to another person. Do you ask the same questions to your friends, to your family, to whatever? I'm not talking about them. We're not talking about them right now. We're talking about you. You are the topic. In this case, Meghan is the topic of the conversation. So make sure you spot those deflections when people try to, escape that cornering?
Firstly, I've never used the racist word when in this subject. Even the book makes it very clear that we're talking about unconscious bias here. We're talking about a conversation that was raised about the colour of Archie's skin that they called concerns.
So you see the guy's face. Sadly, I don't know his name, but the guy's face. That this this plastic fantastic is full of shite. This plastic fantastic is full of shite. He cannot help it. He said, "Are you talking at me like that with a straight face?" Because Omid Scobie says, firstly, I've never used the racist word when in this subject. Oh, he have never talked about racism. Even the book makes it very clear that we're talking about unconscious bias. Hogwash. That is hogwash. Why? Because he's trying to make this a question of semantics. Because seconds later, mere seconds later, I did a quick editing here. You can watch the interview for yourself. It's just like 3 seconds that I removed for clarity. We're talking about a conversation that was raised about the color of Archie's skin. What are you talking about, mate? You're talking about racism. You're not talking about effing unconscious bias. And thanks Meghan Small. Again, to jump directly right to that clip. To the clip that Meghan Small shared. Let me see if this one. No, it's not this one. No, it's this one. Meghan Small shared a clip, and I'm going to share with you right now. This one. I'm going to play this. Let me see how long it is, because I can just... the Mere story has raised issues. Harry and Meghan's story. This was some time ago. Misogyny, unconscious bias, or racism. Let me see. Okay, I can play 14 seconds. Here it goes. Hear it for yourself.
Within the institution of the monarchy about unconscious bias or racism. And I know Harry called it unconscious bias. I'm still going to call it racism because I think that it's only not racist when it's unconscious. The second someone makes it conscious.
You see it? You see it? Okay. You have never said in the book. I don't remember what did you say, but yeah, you know that this is about racism. But now, oh, you're masters because you're not a journalist. You're just a shield. You have masters. Your masters have told you that you cannot use or right now, but back then, this interview, he was still. I'm going to call it. I know, Harry. I'm still going to call it racism. He had himself right now. And then he said this.
When it's unconscious, the second someone makes it conscious to you and you try and minimize it or skirt the topic or recollections may vary it, that is racism. And I'm
So he just said, yeah, he said that recollections may vary is being racist. He said that. You heard that for yourself. I'm going to play it again. So you can hear it loud and clear. Not joking.
Conscious to you and you try and minimize it or skirt the topic or recollections may vary it, that is racism. And I'm sorry to...
What are we doing here? That certainly drives me mad, because I've had, and I'm sorry, because trigger warning, there comes a non-family friendly. If there are children in the room, please cover their ears, because I've had to deal with motherfuckers like this my whole fucking life, and that still triggers me to say that these fuckers need to be stopped. And this is my fucking job. And I've learned to do it very well. And I want to do it, you to do it yourselves, my Roger Rogues, bloody well. I want to, I want you to spot this kind of things and realize when someone like this is trying to manipulate you, trying to say that it's not racism, it's unconscious bias, they're trying to uh, water down or try to confuse you with the words that have no real meaning. It's like that fuckery of genetic pain. What I mean, what the I don't know. I don't know. I'm from now on. From now on, assume that today's live stream is not gonna be family friendly. Please, if they are small children in the room, I don't know. Nintendo Switch is great for that. I play Nintendo Switch all the time. It's put up some kind of headphones and tell them to play Mario Kart, and maybe we can race in Mario Kart someday. But right now, it's better if the kids are not in the room, because this really triggers me. I'm very passionate about this topic. Some of you said, I understand that some of you said, why are you talking about this? Why are you giving him the time of day? Why are you giving him more exposure? It's because of this, because it's important. We all wanted to watch Catherine and William today. I'm going to put all the videos and all the clips of Catherine and William tomorrow, I promise. But today, I needed to get this out of my chest. And like 1 hour ago, before starting this live stream, I was really mad. I had to really calm myself because I know how it feels to be manipulated, to be spoken like this and not knowing what to answer. And you genuinely believing, am I the bad guy here? Am I in the wrong? These people have the ability to do that. And you need to know, and I need to know as well, I need to keep polishing this, how to identify this stuff so you can call them out to their faces, because these people are really brave saying all this unconscious bias stuff. But they, I can assure you, they cannot stand being called out directly. And I know because I myself have felt like shaking and sweating, cold sweat, telling people and my voice shaking, you are not making sense. You are comparing apples to oranges. We're not talking about that. It's this topic right now, and you're just avoiding it. And yes, it's hard. But with practice, I can assure you, you can not only spot these kind of things, but confront these people and make them run away. They will choose to manipulate a person, easier to manipulate, and you will be able to get rid of most, if not all, of this kind of toxic personalities. This is what we are doing. We are making sure that these motherfuckers do not fuck with us. That's what we are doing today. Dealing with them. Have you ever this? Okay, he's trying to deflect. So we go to the next clip. The next clip is this one. And I told Scobie on Twitter, I call him out. And I don't know if I will call him out in this other thing, in this, because I also value my YouTube channel. But Twitter, oh, my Twitter, oh my God. I was on fire. You think I'm being rough now? You think I'm being rough now?
Firstly, I've never used the racist word when in this subject. Even the book makes it very clear that we're talking
about the same that we were talking about. He's not making sense. I haven't talked about racism. I have talked about the color of artists' skin and how it becomes an issue with the public, the royal family, and all that stuff. You're talking about racism, guy. You're talking about racism. You plastic fantastic. Next clip.
This is a family that is part of a publicly funded institution that is representative of Britain for our entire diverse country. And so
now we start with the woke stuff. And some of you, I know that some of you don't like me to say the woke stuff, but let's get something out of the. This is very easy to understand. This is very easy to understand. Some of you have even called me, oh, you are just a crazy right-winger. And what if I am a crazy right-winger? You still like my memes. You are still here for a reason. Yes, let's get it out there. I'm a crazy right-winger. Okay, so be it. What are you going to do about it? This is woke stuff. This is stuff that is rotten in humanity right now. I said that on Twitter, and I'm going to repeat that again. I think we need, I don't know, a third world war or something like that so people can get their priorities straight. Because I don't know, how can they bring this kind of conversation? Oh, yes, we have to call out the royal family on these issues. What issues are you talking about? The only issue is that allegedly, according to Harry and Meghan and nobody else, somebody asked about Archie's skin color before he was born. And everybody made an issue of this. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Woke friends that are watching and fellow right-wingers that are watching. This topic, when someone calls that something is racist, I'm going to say it. That person is the actual racist. That's how it works. That's how it works nowadays. And coming from a completely mixed race country, when being mixed race is something, I am mixed race. I am. In ways that, for reasons of privacy, I will not detail, but I am. And I have all the shades that you can imagine. And I just, happen to be whitey Latino. But this is stupid. This is imbecile. This is just trying to throw a bait for people that feel victim of some kind of unconscious bias or a systemic racism, or all that stuff. We are living in an era that has level opportunities for everyone. If you want to live in that, I don't know, victimhood mentality, I cannot help you. You might as well leave this live stream and unsubscribe from my channel. Like, unsubscribe fucking now. Because this is how this kind of stuff, this kind of shit has to be called out for what it is. And I'm really tired. I'm really tired of all this complaining, whiners, weaklings, wimps, having all this kind of megaphone to claim all this kind of stuff and making it seem like it's more important, like actual problems in the world. They're just going to try to distract you so they feel better about their victimhood and how they feel oppressed by something that is non-existent, by things that happened hundreds of years ago. Hundreds of years ago. That's more than enough. It's more than enough. And I'm completely fed up with this. You can mess. You can call me whatever you want. And I find it funny that people have been attacking me for my looks. Go ahead. I don't care about my looks. I don't care about that. Attack me for that. Attack me for being I don't know, Mexican, if you think I'm Mexican. I'm not Mexican. I'm Venezuelan. Attack me for Everything that you want to. I'm going to tell you as a Latino, that is hogwash. All that racist stuff is hogwash. You're making something out of nothing. And this is also a manipulation technique, making something out of nothing. People do this all the time. And you realize, oh my God, you try because you have empathy. We have empathy. We are actually humans. These are not humans. These are subhumans. They want to manipulate you, either with their babble, whatever, what comes out of their mouth, or with their victimhood. They want to manipulate you, making something out of nothing. And we need to fight back. We have to say that it's enough. That this is the last time that we got tricked or duped or fooled or whatever. And we're not going to stand that shit anymore. And this is what I'm telling you. And I know this is not the usual line of the editorial line of the Royal Rogue, but this has to do with the values that the royal family has upheld for decades, centuries. And it's not going to be a plastic motherfucker to come here and say it that, oh, I've come here to ask the important question. The important questions. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
To ask questions about, was the issue of race or potential unconscious bias dealt with properly, is important for us to learn about.
This was a joke that I had to do to add some levity on Twitter because I was getting very heated. This is how I felt this afternoon. As I'm talking with you, I said, this cannot be happening. This cannot be happening. I had to add this. You are saying that. Scobie said that. So to ask questions about what's the issue of race, and he knows that he fucked up. Or potential unconscious bias. Give me a break. Give me a break with that. I'm absolutely fed up with all this. Yes, you get to a boiling point. I've wanted to say so many things about that. And something that really, I have to say that on Twitter, something that really, you know that Omid is a snake. When this happens, I'm going to try to, when this happens, when he is asked and he triggers the question of William's infidelity again, when it has absolutely zero context on what he's claiming. Notice how he switches. This is a switcheroo, all switcheroo from, okay, we have to ask the questions, important questions on how to, if the royal family is upholding the values and principles of blah, 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 that Her Late Majesty Queen Elizabeth, blah, blah, blah. And then you switch to an evil, completely out of nowhere gossip made up with another scoundrel, snake, Giles Coren, totally made up, that the guy already said, and it was made up. You have to mention it, right? And you know that it's just made up gossip. And you were asked about that on an interview, and you claim to be unbiased. Unbiased my ass. Why? Because all you needed to do, Plastic Fantastic was saying, those are your made up rumors. You had the perfect chance. It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. I'm going to play 13 seconds. I'm going to play this 13 seconds. Here we go.
This in the UK spend a lot of time digging, and if at this point they still don't have anything, that says a lot. But at the same time, those rumors, we still see them trend on Twitter on a regular basis.
He's asked about that. He says that no journalist has been able to find anything. Why is that, Plastic Fantastic? Because there's nothing. because you know that it was false, was made up, was fake. You know, it's all fake. You know, all the stuff that with William, with Rose Hambury is fake. It's as fake as your smug face. And you know what? This is the kind of things that people do. This is the kind of mistakes that stupid people do when they feel emboldened by the attention and by everything. This would have been the perfect opportunity for Scobie to say that those rumors were just fake. And it would have been like a balancing of the act. It's like you would have, okay, it would have been more or less maybe, you know, trying to be not too snaky, if you know what I mean. It would have been like disimular. I don't know how to say that in it's like disguising your intentions, right? If you say no, those claims are just fake, would be perfect. You know why Scobie did not say that. That would have been beneficial for him, because Meghan told him to never disprove Williams and Rose Hambury affair. He was told that. And I can imagine that someone that can write as Scobie, they can communicate like him, they can talk like him, knows and manipulates like him. He knows that it would have been the perfect opportunity to like disguise his intentions. There's something that you do to not be as obvious, because the moment that you're obvious, your whole facade crumbles. And why? Because his masters told him never disprove the affair. But that's it. The affair is fake, but don't disprove it. And why? Because the only fans you have, Omid, are the room temperature, bottom of the barrel Sussex squad. That's all you got. That's all the fans that you got. And only your fans because of Meghan. That's it. That is sad, man. That is sad. I would be sad of having such, I don't know, yeah, bottom of the barrel fans. And you cannot even say that Giles Curran made all that up to salvage some of your reputation, because you know, without Meghan or the Sussexes squad, you got nothing. That is a sad reality. You completely sold whatever was left of your reputation for that, for shekels. And that is your sad existence right now. I don't know what else to say about this. So let's jump into we already have made our minds. I wanted to show you all the ways that he's trying to spin this narrative, but let's talk about the part that he begins to talk about the Dutch version of ENDGAME.
Primarily a name being named in the Dutch version of your book.
Well, two names.
That just seems bizarre to everybody out there, because you don't accidentally put in a name, and you can't put it down to mistranslation, can you?
I'm sure that you have been following me for really long, since the body language guy, maybe before that, and you noticed that when the interviewer began talking about the topic of the two names included in the Dutch translation of ENDGAME, you saw that huge swallowing. You saw that completely ecstatic, fixed face. He was nervous. He knew that it was going to be the hardest part of the interview, and he knew that the interviewer was going to double down on those questions. So yeah, he was nervous. He was a bit upset, maybe, Scobie. And you see that the lady was right here. Hey, she was a bit looking down. Oh my God. Well, it's your turn. I'm not gonna do anything. Do your thing. And the guy says, well, I'm going to do my thing because I get paid for that, for this. I get paid for this and I will enjoy this as well. Another clip.
I wrote and edited the English version of the book with one publisher. That then gets licensed to other publishers.
Okay, this is the same thing that he did when claiming that he did not have direct contact with Meghan. The same thing. Notice that it's the same thing. These are the same patterns. Once you spot one of these patterns, it's much easier to spot them over and over again. And what he did do this time, he said that I work with my publisher then licensed it to other publishers. I have nothing to do what other publishers do with my manuscript. So he's claiming that essentially he's blaming the Dutch publisher for adding out of the blue not only complete paragraphs, but names. How does that happen? And these people are capable of telling the things to your face, especially because no, I don't know. And they say afterwards, he say, oh, I don't know Italian. I wish I knew Dutch. I wish I knew German, but I have no control over that. So does that make sense? You know how delicate being a book like this, you know, a publisher knows how delicate this topic is going to be. Make a mistake like this. And this kind of people are going to talk to your face like that. Hiding behind, oh no, I did not have contact with the publisher directly. I did not have contact with Meghan directly. You wished you had contact with William directly, don't you?
The reality is, though, is that this is information that is not privy just to me. Journalists across Fleet Street have known those names for a long time.
You heard it, right? I know you heard it. I know you heard it. I'm going to repeat this clip because there's one thing that he said. There's one word that he said that stands out. I'm going to play it again, and I know that you're going to spot it. I know that you're going to spot it.
The reality is, though, is that this is information that is not privy just to me. Journalists across Fleet Street have known those names for a long time.
He said those names. You know what are the implications that he said those names? Do you know the implications that he said those names? If he actually wrote those two names in the manuscript, and of course he did, and he says right now those names, know how to explain this. It's like you're making a connection. It's like you, at some point you could say, well, there are two names, but certainly they are not the names that are on the Dutch translation. Okay? And that's something he hasn't done. I watched the whole interview. At no point he says those names are not the names of the people, the royals who talk about this. Remember that it was one royal back then in the Oprah interview. Now they are two. Maybe next year is going to be three. You know, there's a natural succession of events. It's easy. No, that information is wrong. And he covers himself up. Oh no, yeah, the laws in the UK prevent me from doing this, such and such and such. Technicalities. I have nothing to do with the laws of the UK. I have nothing to do with Meghan. I have nothing to do with the Dutch publisher. He purposely makes all those connections murky, except the one. He said this. He said right here, this information, these two royal racists is not privy to me. just to me. Journalists across Fleet Street have known those names for a long time. Oh, that's nice. So you can at least say that those are not. If you don't say that those are not the royal races, then we can assume that they are. And who are these journalists across Fleet Street who know? You are not gonna name them, right? You're gonna talk about journalists in a vague general way, right? So we don't have any journalists to directly. Did you know the names of the royal racists? No, you don't, because we don't know who to ask. We don't know who to ask for the letters between King Charles and Meghan, because they did not exist. We don't know who to ask for the who gave Scobie the information for the book, and he has the gall to say, I wanted to put names and in these anecdotes. He hasn't put any. It's baffling how he talks like that. Well, I can guess why does he talk with a straight face, if you know what I mean. But this is just baffling to me, and this is why it's so triggering that can happen to anybody that meets a person that talks like this to their faces. That's like takes you out of balance. I don't know how to say that. Like how is it possible that this person is talking to me like that? It doesn't make sense. They talk in such a way that you really think that you are the one in the wrong, that you are the bad guy, that you must be missing something. You really try to think about it, and that's the window of opportunity that they use to just deflect the topic or blame you about something else. Or let's talk about a different topic or anything. You begin to doubt yourself and you lose.
I had never submitted a book that had their names in it, so I can only talk about my version.
You heard it again, right? I had never submitted a book that had their names. Their names. Specific names. If he hadn't submitted a book that had any names, see, he would have said any names whatsoever. I had never submitted a book that had their names in it. Yeah, he is shifting blame. His voice is shaking. He is cornered. He knows that he can get away trying to make it like murky, that connection, but he thinks it's going to work. He thinks it's going to work, but it won't. And this is why, let me see. Okay, notice this. I did not highlight this. I'm not going to play this clip, but he tries to make it seem, oh, I'm the victim. I've been operating in a bubble of no emotion for the last 10 days, where your face is like operating in a bubble of no emotions for the last 10 years. So, and I'm many other things that have been telling about me. Okay, you begin pressing about the topic. You begin to try to talk about the topic of the Dutch translation. He knows it doesn't make sense. He knows it doesn't make sense. Oh, I've been called so many things. He plays the victim card. Many of the things I've been recently said about the book. The effect a book like this has. I knew that it would be heated and controversial. It's been unfair attacks about me. Oh my God, poor Scobie. It's been an assassination of my character. Oh my God. Oh, poor you. My father's been harassed. Poor Scobie's dad. Oh my God. You see what I mean, right? You see what I mean. He doesn't stay on topic, but he tries to deflect and tries to inspire pity. Now he's trying to inspire pity. It's all the tools of a narcissist, of a manipulator, and you can spot them right on the fly and call them out about that. call them out, right? Call them out. Yeah, unfair attacks. Ah, oh, death threats are almost like the least of my worry because nobody is wishing your death. Who is gonna wish you death? Give me a break. I had tabloid journalists harassing my father last season, pulling out sort of nonsense, blah blah blah. Notice that all the ways that he's talking is in general terms. Every single way that he's talking is in general terms. Another clip.
And I'm not asking people to buy this book, rent it from the library, but I want people to see it for themselves because this is a very different manuscript to the book being described in the pages of the press.
This is important. And this is another tool or resource that a manipulator will use against you. It's like when they say, "Oh, you think I'm cheating you? You want to check my phone? Check my phone. Go ahead." And you have this idea that they will have like countermeasures in their phone that you will not be able to find. And you can imagine that Scobie is saying, "Hey, go ahead and read my book," because he knows that most people are not going to read his book. Okay, most people are not going to read his book and just gonna go for the excerpts and the headlines and the summaries. And you know that most of these outlets are not going to like make up things. They're just gonna put verbatim the what is in the book and then add a headline to it. But they're going to insert the excerpts from the book, so you will have a rather nice idea of what are the ideas in the book, right? So this is a way of saying you cannot have an opinion about this because you haven't read my book. Go ahead and read my book. I'm not going to read it. I am not going to read it. And nobody's going to read it. But lucky for us, we got people that do summaries of it and make sure to put highlight the ideas, the main ideas out there. And the main ideas are good. And this, again, the mainstream media, even the Daily Fail, is gonna put all of those nice and sweet, tabloidy headlines, but they will make sure that whatever the headline claims, they're gonna put the excerpt word by word in the body of the article. They're gonna do it. They're not stupid. So Scobie is trying to say, you cannot attack me for the book because you haven't read the book. That is not an actual defense, because we know the ideas in the book. We have seen the Daily Mail, the Express, and everything attacking you. Okay, but put in the word by word excerpts from the book, and people who are reading the book, I salute you for reading the book, are uploading screenshots of excerpts to the book, so we can have a very good idea without reading your goddamn book, Scobie. That is a fact. So that is not a defense that you can use. Oh yeah, you cannot attack me because you don't know the whole story. Well, I cannot possibly know the whole story. So I can only know what you tell me, and I have to doubt what you tell me and the facts that I can access. All right? But that's something that a manipulator would do. You cannot talk to me like that. You cannot accuse me like that because you don't know all the facts. And when they expose all the facts and you begin to, well, delve into those facts, you notice that those facts do not sustain themselves, then they will deflect, they will change the topic, they will claim victimhood, they will do everything that we have seen so far in a way that you are the villain. Why are you doubting me? Why are you like that? What have I done to you? We have gone this far. We have been through so much. Why are you doing this to me? What? You are not like this. You are better than this. You are more intelligent than this. I'm fed up of all those ways of manipulators and toxic personalities do to manipulate people. I know every single resource and tool in the book.
So for me to ask the question, do the current working royals all still uphold those same morals, values and ethics, not just in front of the cameras, but behind palace walls, I think is a legitimate question to ask.
This is why I told you. This is why I told Scobie to go fuck yourself, Scobie. Like, go fuck yourself. After all that he has done, and I have shown you, and you have seen it for yourself, and you have heard it for yourself, and if you want to discuss it, I'm open, but these are the tools. And I know, even if you are from the Sausage Squad and you're watching, I know that you have been manipulated by someone and so at some point, because this is universal. You have been manipulated at some point, and you know that my words ring true to you, and you cannot help about it. And maybe you don't like how I talk about your queen or your duchess or your princess or whatever you want to call Meghan Markle. But you know my words have weight. You know that what I'm talking about, my words make sense. What doesn't make sense is that Scobie, after all that he has said, so for me to ask the question, do the current working royals still uphold those same morals, values, and ethics? Fuck you and your eyebrows. Yes, I'm a fan of Breaking Bad. Fuck you and your eyebrows. And anyone can screenshot this. Go ahead. Clip this. Share that on the internet. I don't care. Because it's not only Omid Scobie. Omid Scobie is nothing. This is nothing. The real problem is what is going on with the world. Then I've called this out on my Body Language Guy channel. I've called this out on my Pop Den channel, and I'm calling this out on my Royal Rogue channel right now. You're talking about morals, values, and ethics. Fuck you. I'm really mad at this. I'm really mad at the hypocrisy. A screenshot, clip me out of context. I don't care. Go ahead. Share me on TikTok. Go ahead. Make a GIF of me.
Do you believe in the monarchy?
I do, actually.
Do you want the monarchy to exist?
If you had read the book, you'll see that there are many...
You saw this, right? You saw. I'm going to try to. I'm going to put this. Look at Scobie's mouth when he says, "I do want the monarchy to exist." There he goes and loop.
Do you believe in the monarchy?
I do, actually.
Do you want the monarchy to exist?
If you had read...
Do you believe in the monarchy?
I do, actually.
Do you want the monarchy to exist?
If you had read...
Do you believe in the monarchy?
I do, actually.
Do you want the monarchy to exist?
If you had read...
Do you believe in the monarchy?
I do, actually.
Do you want the monarchy to exist?
If you had read...
Oh my God. How much body language do we have talked about for all these years? How much body language how we talk about? He's pucking his lips, he's pressing them, he doesn't mean what he's saying. He is jealous in so many ways. Starting with William, I don't know, something has to do with William. That's why he's so jealous of Catherine. That's why he is aligned with Meghan, who is jealous of Catherine too. It's like a life that he wants, and since he cannot have that, he wants it destroyed in one way or another. And Meghan and Harry was the best catalyst he could find to fuel that. I don't know how to call it. That effort, I don't know. I do want the monarchy to exist. You are lying. You cannot have William. You want everything to crumble. You want everything to fail. You want the king to be seen as weak, sending letters to Meghan to, I don't know, apologize for something. That never happened. That was absolutely made up by Meghan and Harry. You want to trigger a reaction from Buckingham Palace, writing about Queen Camilla the way you wrote, and I'm not gonna mention that. And I seriously know for a fact that many of you rogues are not exactly fans of Queen Camilla. You have the right to say that you're not a fan of Queen Camilla. But the way this guy has written about her in that book, no man should write about a woman or should talk about like a woman like that. That is having no honor. That tells me instantly that you have no code of honor or anything. Instantly. Oh, maybe he was using that language. No. It doesn't work like that. It's the same. It's as we were talking with the woke brigade, with all that stuff that is happening. You give them 1 inch or 2.54 centimeters, and they will take your arm. That is a fact. This is one of the best representations of what is going on with the world. From an individual perspective, one person can fuck you up, manipulating you and gaslighting you. And how can you try to reframe? I don't know how to put this. The ethics and morals of the royal family when you don't have ethics and morals yourself. I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to question because I know that I failed many times with my ethics and morals. I've made mistakes. But you, Scobie, and your masters, oh no, you have done no wrong. You are the ultimate victims. You are the ultimate, I don't know, you have done nothing wrong. And there's a question here that she asked. I mean, why do you think Harry and Meghan have had unfair press? Let's see the answer to this.
It's not about Harry and Meghan having unfair press. I think, for me, the interest... And listen, firstly, I want to say Harry and Meghan don't appear in this book until page 146. I say very early on, they are irrelevant to the future of the royal family.
Okay, this is his way of justifying the fact that he is not attacking Meghan and Harry in this book because they are irrelevant, because they don't matter. Who do matter are the royal family. Now, answer me this question, Plastic Fantastic. Answer this question. This is a rhetorical question. I don't expect Scobie to be watching me right now, but I want Scobie to answer me this question. If Meghan and Harry don't matter for the royal family or the monarchy at all, why are they still featured on the royal family's website? It's interesting, right? It's an interesting question. You say they don't matter, that they are in California, that they are right there. Hey, but they are still listed in the royal family's website. That is interesting. And they're still listed as they are upholding, their patronage or whatever they do. If they do anything at all, but that's another matter. It's interesting, right? When you think about it, that they were never removed from the royal family website. And it's very helpful right now. Imagine if Harry and Meghan, try to understand this, because I don't know if this was a 3,000 IQ play. If Harry and Meghan had been removed from the royal family website, it would make total sense what is saying, okay, they don't matter for the royal family, they don't matter for the monarchy. It would be true. That would make sense. But they haven't. They're still featured in the royal family website. And they are still mentioned every now and then when they are, the formal things and stuff. And you know that, well, that maybe not that mentioned, but they're still like listed in there. They are not working for the monarchy, of course, the firm, but they are not considered like out still. I don't know about you. I don't know about the amount of foresight that King Charles or Prince Williams or their advisors could have, but it's nice to be. It's convenient that they were not removed from that website, because that makes Omid's argument invalid right now. Oh, they don't appear in the book. Oh, they are not included. Wait a minute. Okay, so you don't talk about them. They don't matter at all. You say that. You first say that sadly the rift between the brothers has not been healed. There's this connection or lack of connection. Sorry, so many versions I tend to forget. Between Meghan and the king, Harry, maybe Harry and Meghan as well. I don't know if they talk to each other. So you say that Harry and Meghan don't matter. And that's why you did not talk about them that much. I don't know. Weren't you one of the who claimed that Harry and Meghan could modernize the monarchy in any way? And if Meghan, as you claim, and Harry, as you claim, are trying to contact King Charles to keep in contact, don't you think that, well, they are still part of the fall? Don't you think that when you talk about fucking morals and ethics, you have to mention them and all that they have done? And all that they have done to smear the perception not only of the monarchy, but actual members of the royal family, including Prince Philip and Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. That doesn't make sense, Paul. This is the problem. You need an actual journalist to interrogate you, not an interview, an interrogation. Because this morning shows don't cut it. These morning shows don't cut it. It's that simple. And the kids have titles. And they still have their titles. So you cannot tell me, oh no, they don't appear. Did you see that? He's not answering. He is not answering the question. Notice this. I'm going to repeat this. Why do you think Harry and Meghan have had unfair press? Why do you think Harry and Meghan have had unfair press? That is the question, right? It's not about Harry and Meghan having unfair press. Why are you answering that? Because we want to know why you think they have bad press. And you begin to say, I want to say that Harry and Meghan don't appear in this book until page whatever. Deflecting. Okay? Oh, he cannot say that. Interesting. He cannot say that. Let's continue. Next clip. I think it's going to be longer than I thought. This live stream.
I'm only here to talk about the past experiences and stories and how they relate to the issues that we're talking about with the royal family today. So I have very little interest in what they're doing in California, etc.
He said that. He said that as well. He contradicted again. I'm only here to talk about the past experiences and stories and how they relate to the issues that we're talking about. And for him, it's only Archie's skin color. That's it. It doesn't have to do with Meghan and Harry anymore because they are irrelevant to the royal family. It's only about Archie and his skin color. That's it. And if you're talking about past experiences and stories, not Harry's past experience and Meghan's past experiences also have to do with it. Don't you notice the contradiction? That on the fly he's saying this is baffling. I'm just trying. My job here is not torture you. I don't want to torture you with this. I want you to see that this is the same kind of patterns that manipulators use to use this all this gobbledygook. I don't know what is the name. There's a name for that, to not answer the questions. Not answer the question. You have to. Can you please answer the question? Okay, maybe it's not about Harry and Meghan being having bad press, but why do you think they have bad press? I just generally want to know. You have to be like Columbo. You have to play stupid. Okay, right, but can you answer the question? Because I just have a doubt that I want you to know your opinion about that. And if they don't answer the question, you ask them, does this question make you feel uncomfortable? Just let me know. I know how to rephrase them. That you want to trigger them at some point, okay? You want to trigger the manipulator. You want to upset them. That's something that you can do. And you have something that you have to do. So they lose the control of the conversation and you seize the control of the conversation. Does these questions, you're not answering my question. I've asked the question twice and you haven't answered it. Does it make you uncomfortable in some way? Is there a reason why this question makes you uncomfortable and you don't want to answer it? Is there some compromise? If they don't answer the question, you ask them why they won't answer the question. It's that simple. It's simple. Just keep questioning, right? Questions are your most powerful tool dealing with these motherfuckers. So continue.
And I've always said that very loudly from the start. And it's the thing that has made me a target for many people in terms of someone who is just seen as like some mouthy fan of her.
Okay, this is a rather empty clip. Maybe a victim again. Oh, I'm a mixed race member. Oh yeah, maybe they are attacking me because I'm a mixed race as well. Or maybe I'm identified with Meghan because I'm mixed race. I'm mixed race and you can all go fuck yourselves. I mean, Scobie and Meghan. Oh my God. I'm gonna get a letter from YouTube tomorrow. I know. But what the fuck? Let's do this.
And look to the
There's
future of the
20,000
monarchy.
words on race and the royals.
Yeah.
It's the deepest dive on the
So
subject
he said that this is not about race or racism or whatever.
Done.
He claims that this is not about race or racism or whatever, but 20,000 words about race and the royals on the book. Calculating that the book is 50,000 words is like more than 1/3 of the book. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. This is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of oh my God, seeing your comments. Your comments are golden, my rogues. I apologize that I haven't been able to read your comments, but I'm so triggered. So many ways. This is unbearable, but we withstood the Dockside mentoring. We can stand this as well. We can stand this as well. Okay, let's talk about Piers Morgan. This for real.
Piers Morgan was saying that he had no conversations with Camilla. He's called you an outright liar. What would you say to him?
I don't know what he says. I only go by the reporting that I have.
Well, this is one of my favorite parts. This is one of my favorite parts. Piers Morgan called you a liar. He has never talked with Camilla. Okay, he had no conversations with Camilla. He called you an outright liar. What would you say to him? Okay, you can see his mouth. Oh my God. I don't know what he says. Of course, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, that car, they use that car all the time. I only go by the reporting that I have. Okay, so I can guess. Let me imagine. This is Scobie's day. He wakes up. He takes that like tiny pink blindfold off his face. He does his American Psycho skin routine, and he opens the window and he finds the reporting on his desk every day in the morning by itself. He doesn't do anything. Here's the reporting. Or oh no, right. He doesn't use physical reporting like Meghan and the king do. No. He finds his reporting from an email that he receives in the morning, and he doesn't know who sends his reporting. I only go by the reporting that I have. Who sends the obvious question is who sends you your reports? Who reports you this kind of stuff? Then the question is not asked. I mean, what the fuck is this? I only go by the reporting that I have. I genuinely imagine, my mind works in mysterious ways, but I genuinely imagine an envelope, a manila envelope just popping up in his desk with a tiny, nice calligraphy that says reporting, daily reporting. And he just opens up, oh my God, Pierce spoke to Camilla directly. I'm gonna write it down on the book right now because this is what my magical reporting says. It's like the fairy godparents, but in plastic way, in plastic form. Fuck's sake.
I also, as I was researching this, and as you see cited in the references at the back, he's spoken a lot about his friendship with Camilla, the Queen. So
okay, so this is it. This is why he claims. Notice what he says. Okay, I don't have a way to say this directly, but he has spoken a lot about his friendship with Camilla, the Queen. Okay, that must mean that he talked to Camilla about that. No, not exactly. That doesn't work like that, Scobie, and you know it. That I'm not a lawyer, but I got very good attorneys, and I had I don't know how to say this, enlightening conversations with them. And I know that it doesn't work like this. No, you cannot claim that since Piers Morgan has said that his friendship with Camilla, that we don't know in which terms has Piers Morgan talked about his friendship with Camilla. We don't know that. We could find out, right, of course, but that is beyond the scope of this video. That doesn't mean that he talked with Camilla about the topic that he claims in the book. Very different. He's trying to make it seem it's like a circumstantial proof that doesn't prove anything in this case. And the other thing that he says is this. You say that how these liars work.
Listen, I don't know what to make of that, but I only go by the information that I have. He's also said a lot of things about me and the story and so on that is also not true. So I don't find that particularly credible.
You say that since Piers Morgan has said things about me that are not true, then I don't find him particularly credible. So let me see. Yeah, your daily reporting, the one that magically appears in your desk, that is credible, right? We have to think that your reporting is flawless. So Piers Morgan saying that he never talked to Camilla about that thing that they were talking about. You're telling me that, okay, he's not credible, right? He's calling you a flat out liar, and you cannot refute that. You cannot. Let me get this straight, Scobie. Let me get this straight. And I'm doing Piers Morgan's job right now, and I'm not getting paid for that, but here it goes anyway. Piers Morgan is calling you a liar. And it's calling you a liar for something that appeared on ENDGAME. So it means that Piers Morgan, with the reputation that Piers Morgan has, calls you a liar for what happened, what is written in ENDGAME. Then you will lose sales. You have fewer sales because people, okay, Piers Morgan is saying that this guy is a liar. Why would I read ENDGAME? Because It has lies on it. If he's lying about Camilla and Piers Morgan, what other lies will be there? You will lose sales. Scobie, you will lose sales. Why don't you sue Piers Morgan now? You should do. I told you to fuck yourself, okay? But that is not going to impact your book at all. I assure you. But Piers called you a liar for something that is inside your book, man. I'm pretty sure that you know how this stuff works. And I'm sure you know your publisher is not happy with that. And it's going to impact your sales. Go ahead and sue Piers Morgan. But I know that you wouldn't want to do it. And why do I know this? Because I told you, my rogues, 2 days ago. I told you 2 days ago that Scobie did not write this book for money, for profits. None of that. This was not for the profits, right, Scobie? That's why you don't care about being called a liar by Piers Morgan, nonetheless. His experience and his reputation speaks for himself, I have to say. This was not for the profits, right, Scobie? This was for the fame. You're fame hungry. You wanted the spotlight. You wanted to double down on this. Because you know that Meghan and Harry, especially Meghan, will keep doing whatever they want and whatever they takes to stay relevant. And you cannot lose that position of main shield, of main bootlicker. What was the word that that Piers used for him? By the way, he used lip speaking. What was the word? What was the word that Piers used? Piers used a word for him. A very interesting word. I'm paying attention to your comments, but that's it. I'm trying to see your comments. Appears Lickspittle. Thank you, Pebbles, and thank you, JIT. Lickspittle. You don't want to miss that position because you know, Scobie, who is breathing on your neck. Who is breathing on your neck, Paul? Jack Royston is breathing on your neck. It's like that. It's smelling blood. He's coming for your position and you don't want to miss it. You would not do whatever it takes. You will resist answering, replying, suing Piers Morgan. You don't care because you don't want to lose that. You need that. That is your only chance, your only shot at some kind of relevancy in history. Infamy. You have chosen infamy. So be it. You will get what you deserve. You will get your karma. Just have to wait. It arrives. But you know that you're afraid of Jack Royston, right? You know you're afraid of Jack Royston from Newsweek magazine that it's always like, oh my God, it's working hard for the sausage money. I love when someone is, it's working hard for something. And I can appreciate when something is, I appreciate the hustle, man. And Jack Royston is trying to just topple Scobie as the main sausage Lickspittle. Oh my God, my English has improved. My English has improved from 1 year ago until now, for sure.
And whether some of the subjects in the book make people uncomfortable or not, they are still conversations we should be had. You can leave that book feeling stronger about the monarchy than ever before, or you can leave that book feeling like, actually, there are some more things that I'd like public discourse about. Okay, this is important, and I made in fact, I had a note here. This is important. I'm going to replay the clip. And then I'm going to read my note. I tweeted this on Twitter, by the way, on X. But I'm going to replay the clip
so I can explain, because this is important as well in terms of manipulation and gaslighting.
And whether some of the subjects in the book make people uncomfortable or not, they are still conversations we should be had. You can leave that book feeling stronger about the monarchy than ever before, or you can leave that book feeling like, actually, there are some more things that I'd like public discourse about.
Okay. My annotations. People can claim that lies, okay? They tell you lies, okay? And you call them out on those lies. And you tell them to stop lying. Will you please stop lying to my face? Will you please at least respect, have some kind of decency and respect, and quit being such a hypocrite and cynical, and stop lying? And they will claim that there's a conversation that one must have. They will reframe their lies as a conversation that we must have, like their lies are something important. And if you agree to that conversation, you fell into their trap. They will reframe their lies as a conversation that we must have. Exactly the same is said about the royal family, about the monarchy. In order to gaslight you into believing that dismissing the lies is avoiding an important conversation. Oh, you don't want to talk about this. You're not invested in this relationship. You're not invested in us. You're not invested in all that we have gone through. You're not invested in all that I have done for you. And they're talking about the lies. And they want to reframe their lies as something important that you should discuss. Do not fall into that trap. The moment you fall into the conversation that we need to have this conversation, no, you are lying. You're flat out lying. There's no conversation, period. You have to assume and you have to tell to my face, yes, I apologize. I'm sorry. I lied. Because as long as they don't say it, as long as they want to have a conversation, it's fake. It's bullshit. And yes, this is a topic that really makes me passionate. I have a lot of passion about this because people need to learn this, need to how to identify all of this. And whether some of the subjects in the book make people uncomfortable, oh, you're uncomfortable. No, I'm not uncomfortable. You are lying. Also, the fact that I'm telling this makes you uncomfortable. No. You are lying. Lying. Stop lying to my face. Stop lying to my face, then we can talk. And then there are still conversations we should be had. You should have. You know about the ethics and morals and those stuff. You can leave the book feeling stronger about the monarchy than ever before, or you can just leave the book and not buy it, of course. Or you can leave that book feeling like, actually, there's some more things that I like public discourse about. Yeah, you want to make it about race. And you yourself, Scobie, gave the main clue. It's so odd that Meghan and Harry did not talk about this in the documentary or Spare. There's a very good reason. Because this is just plain woke shit. That the only people that will ride with this, the only people that will pay attention to this, are the same people that are crying victimhood about that. And those are the people that are Meghan's fans. And by extension, your fans. Because the moment Meghan drops you, forget about everything. You forgot your reputation, forget about your reputation, forget about everything. Everything. Let me see. I have a couple of clips. I'm going to skip that. We already showed you this clip. I already talked about this, that he does not deny the affair that everybody knows that is fake because Giles Corran already said that he made that up. But Scobie's masters, Harry and Meghan, told him never said that even if that would have benefited him and his reputation and his credibility would have been, well, in better standing if he said no, that are just fake claims. That Giles Corrin already said that he just made that up. And finally, final clip for tonight. Look at his face. Look at his smug face. I told you. But the books are available. I think I can play this. Maybe not all of this, but I can play some amount of this. I can play all this. This from the Netherlands, and these are the subtitles. Well, he's speaking in English, but here it goes.
The book's available in a number of languages, and unfortunately I can't speak Dutch, so I haven't seen the copy for myself, but if there have been any translation errors, I'm sure the publishers got it under control. For me, I edited and wrote the English version. There's never been a version that I've produced that has names.
This clip is thanks to Popcorn Planet. Andy Steph, thanks for this clip. Big shout out to Popcorn Planet and Popcorn Palace as well. Well, you can see Scobie's attitude. Oh, I don't speak Dutch or Italian or anything, so I don't know what they do with the books. I have nothing to do with that. But I don't know. We have said so much today. I have reacted so much today because yes, this is a topic. Let me see. Leave okay, Archie's skin. Let's leave that screenshot right there. We have talked about so many things. Yes, this was like beyond body language, with so few facial expressions. That's why I showed you his genuine smile. He has his actual smile, thanking the interviewers for a nice interview. And well, we were not going to get much from his facial expression. And Steph, the alter nerd, by the way, Steph told me on Twitter that the linguistic part was going to be really interesting. And she was not wrong. Steph, you were not wrong. You were not wrong. So many things that once it's like you watch the interview. If you can watch the 15 minutes of the interview, I salute you. Because, yeah, it's now you understand why it was so triggered this afternoon. I was just mad. And you maybe watch the whole interview, and there's something that rubs you the wrong way. And it's not only Scobie's face. That's one thing. But it's what he says that rubs you the wrong way, and you cannot exactly know, you cannot tell what it is. And the reason that I do these live streams, that even if they don't directly have to do with actual royal gossip, well, it has to do with royal gossip, because all of this is gossip. All of this is hearsay. All of these are claims that, well, have come from nowhere. All this happens in a way that is very hard to notice if you don't pay attention directly to it, and if you don't know how to deconstruct what he says, and you don't compare that with his own words in the past and what he has written in the book itself. So yes, I think I have to make this very clear. This crazy right-winger, your nice friend, the Royal Rogue. Today, maybe I usually don't talk more than 10% what I think, and never tweet more than 10% what I think or what is my opinion. Today, maybe I push that up to 20%. There's still 80% that I think about things that it's better that we Well, we leave that for another live stream, for another video. Today, maybe today was not the day, but that 20% of today that maybe you thought that was an outburst, maybe you thought that it was out of the line. It was out of the line for my regular editorial line on this channel, family friendly. Maybe your kids are still playing Mario Kart. Tell me, maybe we can play after the live stream ends. I love that game. But it's something that has to be said. And there are things that have to be said in many ways, or in some ways that maybe not everyone agrees. And I know that these are the kind of things that can get you in trouble. But I know that in many ways, I know let's say that, how to put this? I value a lot, of course, the connection that we have. This community that we have, Rogues, is very important to me. And these live streams are absolutely magical in many ways. But I think, I don't know how to say this. Sometimes I have to strand a bit farther from what is the usual words and the usual memes of the Royal Rogue, because these are topics. It is not just because they were attacking the royal family, or attacking Catherine, for example, or attacking William. And many people on the internet could say, why do you defend the royal family that way? Are the royal family paying for you? Maybe they are not even aware of your existence. Maybe it's that is a possibility. But I think the royal family stand for something. I've said this many times. They stand for something that is beyond us and represents something. And I'm not saying that they are perfect. Never say that. They have flaws like everyone else. I have criticized William more than a few times on Twitter. You know it, and some of you haven't liked it. Some decisions, different opinions. It's normal from a crazy right-winger. But I get really mad when common sense goes out the window. When this kind of manipulations happens at any level. And I get even more upset when so many people do not know how to react to this. I don't get upset with the people. I get upset with the manipulators, with the toxic personalities. And yes, they have to be called out this way. Because there are times to be politically correct. And there are times to say the things the way they are. Some of you say that maybe the royal family need people to defend them. I disagree at some point, to some extent, with that. I don't think the royal family actually needs people to defend them. What I think is that we need people to speak in behalf of the values and principles that we see, that we feel that the British royal family upholds, and that we agree with them, and of course are in danger nowadays. So many things. And I see your comments, and as long as you're respectful, I understand that some of you have opinions about King Charles, have opinions about Queen Camilla, have opinions about William, could have opinions about Catherine. I've seen very strong opinions about Queen Elizabeth as well. But let's not talk about Prince Andrew for once. But I think at least when we talk about King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and Princess Catherine, I think the united front is the best word that we should use. Okay, we can call them out when we think that they're doing something wrong. But even so, if we're fans of the royal family, we're fans of the royal family. Still, I will keep doing my best, trying to give you some unbiased, unconscious bias. No. In fact, totally biased memes. I will promise to keep bringing you completely, blatantly, shamelessly biased memes about the royals and non-royals. So you know what that means, right? I will keep doing my mid-journey magic on that. But it's just something that I wanted to talk with you. This is something that will evolve, will change. But at this point of time, we need to call, no matter who tries to manipulate you, you need to fight back. And today, some of you learn new tricks. Some of you remember old tricks. But all of us had a great time and cathartic time with this topic. And I think this is what was important. I really love you, my royal rogues. Remember that 3 days, my merch, Much Love and Bliss merch, is going out in 3 days. And my Royal Highlander, then I don't know how you convinced me to make a Photoshop, an AI image of myself in a kilt with a sword in the Highlands. But there you have it. So you asked for it. So go and get the merch because you have 3 days and it's gone. It disappears, sold out. You will never see that again. There are even pillows of me. Oh my God. I cannot. I don't know. I'm going to leave him. We're really near the end. I have made mistakes in the past. I tried to be a better man and a better content creator and a better host for these live streams and these videos. And I hope that we have many years in front of us, or it's like, yes, in front of us, to keep sharing these moments, to keep learning, to keep sharing this space, no matter if you agree or disagree with me. But as long as you get something from these live streams, whether it's entertainment or tools for life, my job here will be done, and I will be glad of having done it and having done it well. My Royal Rogues, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And until we meet on another video or another live, remember the 2 most important words: much love and bliss. Take care, because I love every single one of you.